Okay. Any questions? Let me just say this. Poor Sean. Sean and I were warned to stay on script by Tanya, and the only person who didn't stay on script so far. You know, there's so many things that I can be thankful for. First of all, I want to thank Tanya, and I want to thank the Wheels of Hope board. I want to thank the Hope Clinic board first for letting me indulge in what was a harebrained idea at the time. Since we started this show in 2015, this was our first attempt at artwork, and we had a company called Corporate Magic was one of my clients, and they do major events for like Republican National Convention, Democratic National Convention, Mary Kay Convention. They do things all over the world. And he put some of his talent to work to help us come up with the first logo, put up, got our website started, and got our Facebook page started. And so this was like 2012. And because of that, we were able to proceed, you know. And ever since we started, and I'm going to tell you, my purpose here today is to tell you how this all got started. You heard a little bit with the video, but basically, if you've ever started something, whether it's a company or a charity or a show, it is such a thrill, and there's no way that I can tell you how awesome it is when you sit back and you watch something come together. It is really, really a blessing, especially when you look around the square and you see hundreds of cars and you think, wow, this is all my fault. There are so many to thank, so many people to thank. I will not be able to get around to them all. I'll mention some of them later, but time won't let me go through all the names that I have this morning, and I apologize for that in advance. There's a lot of There's a big story to tell about the Wheels of Hope. The quick version is this, and I'm going to try to go fast because I was given a time limit and I was told to stay on script by the person who never stays on script. So it was, basically I started collecting cars. Collecting cars for me is like 2 or 3. I'm not one of these 20, 30, 100, 200 collectors. But I bought a 1969 green Roadrunner. Lime green Roadrunner 2010, had a 383. It was the loudest car I've ever owned. It was awesome. And then I started going to car shows. That next year I bought a 68 Corvette 427 4-speed, and all original numbers matching. For those of you who are car people, that is meaningful. I still have that one, by the way. But anyway, I started going to car shows. And a lot of car shows, you sit in the parking lot, you just bake your brains out. They're normally in the summer, it's normally hot. But here I am, I got a trailer, had a trailer built specifically for my Roadrunner, had a Roadrunner on the front rock guard, I had it painted up, had it fixed up, and I go to these car shows and I roll in like I know what I'm doing. I had a client who had moved to Albany, Texas. How many people know where Albany, Texas is? The Beehive, if you've ever eaten there, that's what it's famous for. Unfortunately, it's not there anymore. But I went to Albany, Texas with this client. They have a thing called Fandango. It's a big musical that they do. And the meaningfulness of this trip was, yeah, I hauled my Roadrunner all the way out to Albany. And I went to a car show with my buddy Mike Murdoch. But it was held in the town square. And the cool thing about it was all the cars were there, all the shops were open, and the entire community was there to support it. So, you know, the way I work, I kind of had this glimpse of an idea that flashed through my brain. And it kept building. I came back and I literally drove to the downtown Garland, L Square, before the remodel, and I stood there and I went, wow, this is the perfect place for a car show. Number one, it's a square. Number two, we don't have a stupid courthouse in the middle blocking the view. So this would be great. You can stand in one spot and see every car. So I proceeded to think about it some more, and I went to Martin Glenn, who was assistant city manager. Many of you here know Martin Glenn. That was fantastic. I spent about, I didn't know what would happen, but I spent about 30 minutes with Martin, and good grief, he was all in. He wanted for the exposure for the city. So here I am, I'm starting off, and I'm trying to get a car show started. I didn't really have a purpose yet, other than to give exposure to downtown Garland. And then I ran in, we were at a reception at the old Baylor Hospital. Thank God for Baylor Hospital. It was a reception, and I ran into an old friend I hadn't seen in years, Mike and Dana Cooper. And Dana had just retired as a nurse. She was kind of working part-time. And if you know, Dana working part-time means she worked 6 days a week instead of 7. But she just jokingly said, "Why don't you hire me? I need a job." And I said, "Okay." And we laughed and giggled, and then we left. And that Monday, I called her on the phone. And I said, "Dana, how would you like a job?" And of course, she said, "Are you serious?" And I told her yes. And I hired her on the spot. And I told her she had one job. Dana, what was that job?
To make you look right.
To make me look good. That is exactly right. That's her job description. Veritex doesn't really know about it, but that is her job description. And she's done a wonderful job at it. Dana is a event planning savant. She's awesome. So we're sitting there and we're putting together a car show, and I'm going, wow, let's get some sponsors. And then about 5 minutes later, I go, wow, if we're getting sponsors, we ought to have some kind of charity that we can support. And then I went, well, heck, I'm on the board at the Hope Clinic. Why don't I go to them? So I went to people on the board, Ed, and others. Barbara Burton, by the way, all this is Barbara Burton's fault, because she's the one that made me get on this board. If Barbara Burton gets on you, you can never get her off. She's an incredible volunteer. She got me on the board. I went to the board and I said, "Look, y'all are tired. You're raising money all the time. What a burden this is for y'all. But I've got an idea to raise some money. It might work. We're gonna have a car show. It's not really y'all's main purpose in life, but it was a harebrained idea. I'm gonna have a car show, but I don't want y'all to do anything. I want to get the volunteers. Dana and I are gonna put it together." So we did. They agreed to it. So we did the Wheels of Hope under the umbrella of the 501c3 of the Hope Clinic. That way I didn't have to do accounting or